Hey guys, Michael Corsentino with my February 2018, I still have to get used to saying that, 2018 lighting tutorial for Shutter Magazine, behindtheshutter.com. If you guys are loving these tutorials as much as I hope you are, then do yourself a favor and head over to behindtheshutter.com and set yourself up with a subscription to the print edition of Shutter Magazine so you can have 12 months of awesome photography education delivered right to your door. And there's also a really nice digital edition so you can view it on your tablets and web-enabled devices. This month I have a quick but really important video and topic for you. And that is a topic dealing with the fact that I think a lot of people get hung up on the gear, either not having enough of it or sometimes having too much of it and getting tied up with gear. You don't need a lot of expensive equipment to produce really great work. And that's really what I wanted to focus on this month, is to really simplify things and to focus on what I consider to be one of the most versatile and least expensive pieces of lighting equipment, lighting modifier specifically, and that is the convertible umbrella. It allows you to do a multitude of things with one really inexpensive tool. Most of the times under $100 for this tool. The one that we're looking at in this particular video was like 140 bucks. You can find them for 30 bucks, 19 bucks even, depending on how many bells and whistles they have, but we're going to look at what you can do with a convertible umbrella. All of the three images that you're seeing here on screen were created with a convertible umbrella in various iterations and various configurations that you can use. And that's what the cool thing is about the convertible umbrella, is you can use it in a bunch of different ways and create a bunch of different looks, all with one tool that costs very little money. You can use it with speedlight, you can use it with a strobe. So it really is a jack of all trades. And again, here we're looking at three different images that were created using this one tool. And you can see each one of these has a different kind of quality of light with a different amount of coverage. So umbrellas get a really unfair reputation because they spill light everywhere. You don't have a whole lot of control with an umbrella like you do with a softbox because there's not as much of a defined edge to an umbrella. However, you can use that to your advantage. Not everything has to have a very defined edge, and not everything has to have a very focused beam of light. There are instances, as you can see here, where an umbrella will give you a really beautiful effect. And most of the modern day umbrellas that are available, when they're convertible, come with lots of different options. So let's take a look at the one I used for this shoot. For this shoot, I used the Lastolite 8-in-1 umbrella. It's a 41-inch umbrella, and owing to its name, it can be used in these various ways, 8 of them. So you've got white bounce back, shoot through, silver bounce. They call it bounce box with white diffusion. That just means that there's a diffusion panel in front of the umbrella, which softens the effect. So it's kind of like a soft box, hence the name box bounce. I just call it bounce back with diffusion. On the second layer down, you've got bounce with silver, so you're going to have a little bit more of a specular look from that because the silver interior is going to give you more contrast as opposed to the white, which is on the above right, top right corner. And then you've got shoot through box, which is using diffusion on the back end, but the light is pointed toward the subject, as is the umbrella. Then you've got shoot through box square mask and shoot through another shoot through with just a different opacity in the mask. So this will give you a little bit of a harder edge than you might have without. All right, so this one has a ton of options. Now, again, this costs about 140 bucks, I believe. There are all sorts of shoot-through umbrellas. So let's take a look at some of the most common variations that you're going to see. And the standard version of a shoot-through umbrella is going to give you at least these 4 variations to work with, more often than not. It's going to give you white bounce back, shoot through, silver bounce back, and the with diffusion option is something that you won't find with every one of them, but you can always use transparent shower curtain. If you don't have a an umbrella that comes with a shower with a with a diffusion panel, you can use a diffusion panel that you already have. So there are just a lot of options. I would recommend that you get one that's really not that expensive, and it just really gives you a lot of options. And let's take a look at what we did for this particular shoot. The ones that we're going to focus on, the ones that I used, were shoot through. I did beauty with that, and we'll take a look at that. That's our first look. Then I did the bounce back white with diffusion. That's going to be for our editorial look, which is going to give it a nice soft diffused look. And for the fashion look on the white seamless, I did two variations, one close to the background and one further away from the background in order to control the light on the background. I wanted to show you how you can modulate the amount of illumination that you have on the background just using one light. And I used white bounce back from above for that. All right, now here you're seeing this used with the speed light. I used it with a strobe. Either way, you're good to go. All right, so a very inexpensive setup. Inexpensive and versatile, as you can see, which is key. For the first look, I'm using the umbrella as a shoot through, and this is a direct orientation. So what I mean by that is the light is pointed directly into the umbrella, which is pointed directly toward the subject. Okay, that's a direct orientation. Now, the nice thing about an umbrella is you can use it either direct or indirect, and we're going to work indirect for our diffused look, which is going to be our next look, where we use the diffusion panel on the front. Now, I'm using this all in a clamshell orientation. So we've got light from above, and then we've got a reflector panel under here. This is a Lastolite triflector, which has 3 articulating panels, which allow me to control the amount of fill that I have all the way around in 3 different sections, which is really nice. And this is just a classic clamshell beauty orientation. And you can see here the lovely look that it gives us. It gives you a nice shadowless look when the subject is facing directly toward the camera. Right now, our model Candace has a little bit of sideways orientation to her pose, so we have a little bit of shadow, but it's really lovely. Very nice look, very appropriate for the subject matter. All right, so that's our clamshell look, and that's just shoot through, simple. It doesn't get any simpler than this, and you can use, as I said, you can use a speed light for this if you like. I was using a strobe, but you're working really close, so don't need a whole lot of light. All right, let's take a look at the 2 shots from this that I edited down. Here are our 2 beauty images. So you can see here on the left how you've got that really shadowless look from this style of light. Lovely catch lights, really nice coverage, fairly good separation between the background, considering it's a black background and a brunette model with dark hair. Not bad, given that it is just one light. Okay, same thing on the right hand. All right, so that was our clamshell shoot-through look. All right, moving on. Now I have moved the key light over actually what you're seeing in the BTS shot is camera right, but I moved this, the final shots are the key light was over here, was camera left, just so you know. Just so there's no confusion, but it was exactly set up just like this. Okay, so you can see I've got it on a boom stand, and most importantly, it's now indirect. So the strobe is facing away from the subject, hitting the back of the umbrella. This is a white interior, and that is now reflecting light back onto this diffusion panel, which is then softening and broadening the effect and creating this really nice look. Right? And I also have a V-flat here, which is reflecting light back into the shadowed side of the face, which in this case is really going to be here. And I've got this reflector panel, the same thing, the Lastolite triflector, which is just bouncing light back up into the model. Okay, so let's take a look at 2 finals from that. And there you have it. So one of the things I want to mention is having the model turn toward and away from the key light. So you can see here that now on the right, Candace is turned away from the key light. So, and this is the brighter side of her face. Obviously the key light is here. And now she's turned toward the key light. So you can see the brightest side is here. Both really lovely. Obviously on the left you're going to get a softer effect because there's going to be less illumination on the model's face. Still got a really nice catch light here and here. Same thing there and there. So it works either way, just a different kind of effect, both equally pleasing, just one with a little bit more intensity. And again, so this is going to be our bounce back with diffusion, all right, an indirect orientation to the light. So it gives you a softer quality of light. And again, we've just created two amazing, beautiful, different kinds of looks with one umbrella and one light. All right, I changed out the background also to create some variation, and that also helps to create a variety of looks. All right, our third and final look is our bounce back with white and no diffusion on the front. As you can see here, let's take a look at the BTS here. You can see I've got it on the white cyc wall, and we've got our umbrella here. This is again another indirect version. Now you could of course do this another way, but this is a really inexpensive way to create this full figure fashion look. This is a 41-inch umbrella, and look at all the coverage that I'm getting. I'm able to illuminate the entire background and full length of the model using just one light and a 41-inch umbrella, which is pretty amazing. It surprised me. I was really pleasantly pleased to see just how much you can get done with a very, very simple, inexpensive tool. You know, I thought perhaps I would only be able to just do kind of portrait applications with this, but here we are, full figure fashion, and we've got a really nice look. This is pitched slightly back toward the background, just so that I can get some more illumination on Candace's face. I do have to direct her to kind of, you know, favor upward, you know, facing poses just to get some light on the face. Because I am working with a white floor on the cyc wall, that provides me a bit of fill. If I didn't, I would probably put down a white board on the floor just to create some fill there. And there you go. Really simple, really easy. Now here we've got everything really close to the background, which is why we've got a nice almost blow away background. There's tone there, but it's pretty bright considering that it's just one light. Normally for a blow away background, you're going to have a separate light zone, and you're going to be working with 4 lights, two on either side, just for the background in order to create a really evenly lit either blow away or tone background. Here we're doing it with one light from above. So pretty amazing. So I wanted to also show you, so here's a full figure, just the image there, just so you can see what that looks like. But I also wanted to show you what we can do when we pull everything away from the background. When we pull the model and we pull the light and the umbrella away from the background, we're able to create a much more moody, darker background, kind of a, you know, almost like a dove gray background, as you can see here. Right? So very different looking background. Let's turn back on our lighter background. And there you go. Okay. So very different background just by proximity, just by the distance from the light to the background. We're able to control the amount of spill falling onto it. That's the big problem with umbrellas. Everybody, you know, has a problem with the amount of spill that they have because they spill light everywhere, but you really can use that to your advantage. You can see here that on the right, we're using that to our advantage. All that spill is helping us light up our background. All right. And if that's not working for you, then you just move it away from the background. And that is going to, you know, lessen the amount of spill on the background to give you a darker background. Simple enough, right? Okay, and now you can see that these, you know, put together, these various kinds of configurations for the umbrella give you a variety of looks which work really well together for spreads and creating, you know, a group of images that work really nicely together. So here I'm just pairing them together in some spreads for you to take a look at. Here we're going to recap, and we're going to look at the different umbrellas, the different configurations, rather the same umbrella, but the different configurations that I use to create them. So just to recap, here we did our beauty look with our shoot-through umbrella using this setup, right? So that is going to be a direct orientation. The light goes into the shoot-through umbrella facing the subject, or actually it's right from here. Let's do that. It's direct on right towards her with a little bit of fill underneath to create some bounce back and some fill underneath. Here, and I'll just get rid of all those ugly marks. There we go. For our second look, we did bounce back with diffusion, right? That's this one. And that is an indirect orientation. The strobe faces into the box, away from the subject, and then bounces back, hits the diffusion panel, and all of this is facing toward the subject, in this case over here, and that is giving us this lovely softer effect, right? Very nice. And finally, we have our white bounce back, and that was used above, as you guys saw before, and facing down. Light is facing up toward the ceiling and bouncing back, creating this effect. All right, let's get rid of all that and take a look at our cleaned up images, the 3 images that we created using the convertible umbrella. All right, so I just wanted to recap, guys, and say again, a lot of times I do these videos, and in the comments on the YouTube channel, I get a lot of comments about the fact that nobody has the gear that I have, and they can't do this stuff and this and that. So I really wanted to show you what you can do with very, very simple, inexpensive equipment. You don't need a ton of expensive equipment to do great stuff. With a little bit of knowledge and creativity and know-how, you can do a lot with a simple tool like the convertible umbrella. So I encourage you to get out there and swing for the fences, work with what you have, get creative and have fun, and post on Facebook, tag me, let me know what you're doing, and I will see you next month here at BehindTheShutter.com.